This is Wednesday, the 14th of October. Recording this about 7:35 a.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. And looking at our heat maps, one of the things that we can do when we're looking at this overall heat map with the longer term heat map on the left, midterm in the middle, and then intraday heat map over here on the right side of the chart, is that we can kind of marry up different things that are strong and weak and look at those individual pairs based on that. So for example, we can see that the US dollar continues to be bearish here on the weekly and 4-hour charts, daily charts, and we can see that the New Zealand dollar continues to be strong based on that area. So we can combine that and we look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar here, pretty strong, not straight across check marks here, but we'll go ahead and take a look at that one this morning and flip over to our daily 4-hour chart. So on the daily chart, what we see is that Heikin-Ashi candles have been solidly moving up back from this point in here, back around the 2nd of October, and that trend continues up as those Heikin-Ashi trends continue just to step higher, if we will. You can always just place a line right in there to kind of denote the trend, for example, on the daily Heikin-Ashi lines. And you can see where we have come back on the 4-hour chart to debate that line and then move back above it again. Our 4-hour Kumo is above our 16-hour Kumo, and we have a recent 4-hour Coppock Curve crossover here on the 4-hour chart. It's below the line here, so we're not quite above the zero line, which is I call the trigger line, but we do have a crossover, so watching that area of the chart. Our daily Coppock Curve has had a slight cross down, but it is so far above the trigger line here, it denotes continued strength so far. Would be watchful, however, if price moves below that 66 area on the New Zealand dollar, US dollar chart. So that's the main one that I'm watching this morning. Other news: the British pound has moved, has shown some strength against some other pairs. For example, I was mentioning the British pound versus the US dollar as weakening yesterday. It's still below the daily Kumo, has not seen a full cross down yet. That daily Coppock Curve I mentioned was close to crossing, and it almost happened last night, but has not quite occurred yet. So our 4-hour Kumo is still below the 16-hour Kumo. So we'll see if this recent move back up, recent move of strength in the British pound continues. Also, we can look at that in terms of the euro versus the British pound. I expect that pair to continue up, but it has had a recent pullback, and would expect that to find support sometime fairly soon. Possibly if it goes all the way down to S1, then definitely in that area. As we can see, the 4-hour Kumo is still above the 16-hour Kumo. But for this morning, I'm focusing on the New Zealand dollar, US dollar at this point, and watchful for it, especially if it crosses above this zero trigger line over here on the 4-hour Coppock Curve. Hope you have a good day of trading.